So I will be doing personal finance in plain text. Recent graduate, what was I saying? Major in computer science with an applied mathematics minor. Just means I took a lot of math classes. Okay, so let's start off because I think we have a lot to get through. So personal finance in plain text. So I will be doing a small introduction, which I kind of just did, and then an introduction to a CLI program named Ledger that is a double entry accounting software in the command line. Then we'll go through some more examples and then resources using Ledger and then some JavaScript tools to kind of make fancy pie graphs and things. Because it is a command line, but you know, we want to make sense of our finances sometimes. Okay, so brief background I just gave, and one thing I wanted to talk about, the reason I got into personal finance was because I was previously a data systems coordinator at Mission Driven Finance, and they're a very cool company. They're in the finance space. I highly recommend anyone check them out. Here, I'll go to their page. They kind of do a lot of investing in kind of closing gaps where investments weren't easily available, such as people of color and women-owned businesses. So if you're kind of interested in your money doing good, you can go talk to them and look into that. But yeah, I'm transitioning from my role there. So So my hunt for my personal finance tool. Personally, I didn't want to get into a GUI or get locked down into anything. So I wanted to go with something simple like text that I could just kind of hit the ground running. And Ledger kind of fits this criteria. I did look at other tools such as Mint, which is for personal finance, and I think QuickBooks, and then the tools that just my online banking service offers, but they don't really give me any tools to kind of edit things or change things around. So Ledger was perfect for me because it's just plain simple text. You can just write it all out. It's all there. And then you just run a simple command. And kind of, I don't know, a key thing that I think about with GUIs is sometimes I get caught up in trying to change a name and it'll take me like an hour or so. So I wanted just something very simple. So here's Ledger, and I will go to the page here. So Ledger is just a CLI tool under the BSD license. And it is just plain text files, and you write out your expenses. You can break them down how you want to by getting more specific or less specific. And then you just run a simple command and it'll essentially show you all the info you need. And it has a ton of features that I don't think I could do in one presentation, but I will show you how I use it. Another key component on why I wanted to do this was because I didn't find a good tutorial online. And so I kind of had to figure out a lot through trial and error. To download, I just used the brew install method, brew install Ledger. And there's a couple other methods there. But okay, let's get into Ledger now. So I will show you a quick entry here. Let's go to VS Code. So, okay, so we're just here in a directory or folder called Playground. And here I have this file called finance-2021.ledger. So these are plain text files. So that extension can really be anything you want. It could be TXT. Just people commonly use Ledger. So I'll show you an entry here. I have it attached to my clipboard because to save some time typing. Oh yeah. Okay, is that looking good? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so here's a basic entry. So we all have a financial status. And here is our assets, our bank checkings. If you have multiple accounts, you can do your bank and you could put Wells Fargo here and keep on breaking it down like that. You could have another one that could be from Bank of America, or something else if you want to get that intricate. I will show you why that may be necessary or to help you keep track of things. But so this is our starting point here, our starting balance. We're just going to say we have checkings, $500, savings 5,000, and then our liabilities, our credit, you know, and so on and so forth. So so we start off with just typing this out into a simple file. Some key things to keep track of is right here, once you write the name, you kind of have to put 2 spaces so Ledger knows that now this is the value. But that's it. Other than that, it's just plain text, just writing it all in there. And so when I run this command, ledger-f, the name of the file and the balance, it'll show me what's in my total bank account, right? A total of $5,394.65. My checkings is at this. Now that comes from, okay, let me explain a little bit. Sorry, this might go. So we have to go into the next slide here of intro to double entry accounting. So we have several accounts, just 4 accounts: expenses, assets, incomes, and liabilities. Expenses is where our money goes, such as groceries, bills, utilities, things like that. Assets is where our money sits, bank account, stocks, things of that nature. Income is where our money comes from, and liabilities is money we owe. These are the 4 main accounts. You can get more intricate, but with this will be able to cover a lot. And a key component of double entry accounting is that everything balances out. So you can look at everything in terms of I paid $10 for coffee, or the coffee place gained $10, and everything zeroes out. So that's kind of double entry in a nutshell. Now, I'm not an accountant by trade, but that's kind of all the double entry accounting you need to know to use this software. So let's go back to right here. So you'll see that my bank account actually balances out the Starbucks coffee gained the $5, and my Visa, right here, the entry is 500, but I paid 100 right here. So it knew to take that out of the Visa bill. And so this is where it just calculates it all and charges my checkings account right here at the end. And this opening balance is just to balance out that I am starting my account, right? All the money has to come from somewhere. So my savings was 5,000 and my checkings was 500 in the beginning. So my equity opening balance is just like money I got from the world. It's just my starting point. So that's where we get the zeroing out. Okay. So now what we want to do is go to the next slide here. Using ledger resources. So there's a whole community on plain text accounting. There's a Reddit. There's a plaintextaccounting.org. I'll go through the plain text org because it has so many tools. Whether you're a JavaScript person, a Python person, they have like countless tools to help make this better looking if you want that. But so if you go to software, there's even different accounting softwares, but again, I use Ledger. So we have data import and conversion tools, data generation, reports, time logging, console, GUI. I used the web one here. It's called Ledger Analytics, and then it is also under the MIT license. Really cool, open source. You can kind of just look at it, and then you see all this, and you get all these interesting things. So let me add some transactions so we can make our next aspect of adding transactions here. So okay, so using Ledger resources, that's all there. We're going to now install Ledger Analytics, which I actually think I already have it installed. Yeah, so you would normally go here and then just probably run npm install global Ledger Analytics. And so now to run Ledger Analytics, we're going to do Ledger Analytics, and then we pick our file. And then let's give it a little bit of time, but it should run here. Oh, sorry. Missing the dash F. All right, there we go. So let's look at our assets here. So again, as your finances get more complicated, we can install a package, and I think it's very useful because we can look at the code and we can make this as complex as we want from a text-oriented finance tool. And so here we just go straight down from 5,000 to, our expenses. But let me add some more transactions and show you maybe a payday and buying stocks and things like that. So if we go to our next day here, actually, let me just copy this line here. And we will do this 22 and 10. Expenses. Here, let's add some coffee expenses. Maybe we'll go to different places. This will show you another key feature here of why I like Ledger a lot. Oh, we'll do blue bottle. And then expenses. Let's think of food. I know pizza port is right there, so we'll do that. Pizza port. Oh. Sorry. We'll do 42.93 US dollars. And then let's do a stock here. So again, what's pretty cool about Ledger is you just type it all out, whether you like typing or not. But even for stocks, it understands to trade the currencies. So, and we'll do it at 150 US dollars. So it knows that I'm buying 10 Apple stocks at 150 US dollars. If I was dealing in pounds, I honestly could just write pounds here. If I was dealing in pizzas, I could just honestly write pizzas here if I wanted to translate my currency to pizzas. And then Bitcoins, right? Because that's a popular one. But we're just... Okay, so, and then let's do our liabilities. We'll pay another 100 maybe just so we can see that. And then here at the end, so Ledger knows where I want to take the money out of. I just don't want to do any math and say, take it all out of my checking account. So there at the end, that's why if you notice checking doesn't have a currency here next to it. And so then we can save that. Let me... are you missing an S on 16? Assets. Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah, there is also a mode where you can define them all, so Ledger will complain. But yes, in the current mode, if you have typos, then it's going to turn it into a whole other asset without the S. So, okay. And we will run the balance command again, and I will show you the differences and kind of some interesting things. So if you look here, you'll see Starbucks right here and Blue Bottle here. And so that'll tell me I've spent $10 on Starbucks and $5 on Blue Bottle. But then if I want to be like, how much did I spend on coffee? Coffee is the whole umbrella term of a total of $16. I personally find this very useful, and you can see as it grows or anything. And then if you don't have many places, so we just have food for pizza port, but as we begin to add, it'll split them. And so you could go and specifically want to know how much money you spend on burritos, So I find that very cool. Okay. So, and then now you'll notice that our Apple stock has been bought, and we're at, we no longer have a 0 here, like in the first one. So double entry accounting a lot of things will zero out, but because we have different currency now, it thinks of the Apple stock as essentially a currency. We're left with this now. But so now I'll show you Ledger Analytics, right, which is our tool that we installed to kind of make this a little fancier. And we'll show you how that gets shown. And then we want to check our assets. Now this is just the Apple one, but we want to look at our US dollars. And we can see here that we started with our 5,000. We spent $100 on the 21st of October. And then we spent 1,600 on the 22nd. That's where we bought the Apple stock and all that. Here we just have our banks and our checkings. And, gives us info like that. Might be more useful to look at our expenses to see where all our money is going. So clearly our expenses are increasing. We have only spent money. You can narrow it to the day here if you have multiple days and as it gets more and more complicated. Here we can see how much we spent on Blue Bottle. It's about 9%, Starbucks. And then here we have our big pizza port purchase. And then, and then what else? Okay, so let me try and show you a payday now. So here we're going to go to the next day. I think I can just copy this. Let's go to 23 and we'll do payday. We won't buy Apple stock, but maybe we'll buy coffee again and pay our credit card. And then we'll add another expense, maybe expenses, shopping, and then I know there is a Target right around here, and we will spend like 65. Okay, and then let's do our payday. So income account, and we'll say it's our job, and maybe in the future we'll have different jobs, so we want to keep track of how much we made at each job, I guess. So we'll say this is our planning center job. Name drop. And we will say we made $2,000. And so you see I put a minus there, right? That means planning center, their account is losing $10,000, right, to pay me $2,000. So, and then that could go straight into our savings or into our checkings. Or if we wanted that to go into our savings, we could put here that our assets, bank, and then savings account gains $2,000. And so that'll balance out right then and there. If we don't put that, it'll just go into our checkings, depending on what you want. And so we'll look at it both ways through the little application and through just balancing out here. Okay, so here's assets, bank, checkings. Oh, checkings got minused here. Hold on, I think I messed up. Oh, sorry. Hold on, let me just add it to the checkings, I guess. I don't know why I did that. What's going on here? Checkings is at 600. Savings is at that. Where's our income? Is it to do with the spacing? Sorry, I could have sworn I tested this out. So income. Then was it assets, bank, checking? Is that right? No, wait. Bank. Hold on. I can't. Bank checkings should gain 2,000. Income job. Sorry about that. Not sure why. Wait. Sorry, what were you saying? Oh, I don't know. Let me see here. So let me try that real quick. Let me see what's going on. Oh, okay, I think it's thinking of it like a credit. But we have assets, banking. Because if I do that, it'll charge me the 2,000. Yeah, then my checkings is down. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know. I tested that out. I could have sworn it was entered like that. Live coding is the worst. Yeah. Paycheck negative 2,000. Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, yeah. Let me try to. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe let's just try. Try that. Let's see. No, it's still thinking of it like a credit.
Was it negative before that day? Yeah, it was. Because of the stock purchase? Oh. Were we already in the red? Yeah. Does income jobs have a balance?
Oh, were we already in the red? Yeah, I think so. That's okay. Yeah, I see. You're right. You're right. So maybe we should transfer some money so then it looks a little better, I guess. Let's do a transfer. Yeah, here. So let's see where we were on this day here. Okay, yeah, our checking is at negative 1,000. So if we do this, okay, yeah, that goes straight into our checkings. Whew. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so that's our payday. Let's add the other stuff we had. Unfortunately, I deleted it. So we're adding that, and then our target expense. Target. We'll do 2093. Okay, so that's a payday. And now let's run the other application. Okay. And let's look at our assets. Okay, and then this on the 23rd. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then expenses. Oh, it's on Apple. That's fine. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, and then let's look at assets. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there's our spending, our dip down in spending, spending again, and then we're gaining some money, right? Great. All right, so that's all working there. And then now let's go back to the presentation. So that's it. Any questions? Yeah. Yeah.
Does the note at the next to the date have any effect on the semantics of what your receipt? I'm assuming that's or your entry.
Oh, the reason there's a date is because you can ask for, a certain amount of time you want. You want to know how much you spent per month, this month, last month.
Speaking
Yeah.
of the note next to it, you get spending and data.
Oh,
Effect on the
no, those are just notes you can place to kind of just label whatever you want. You can finalize them with an asterisk, and that's another feature that Ledger has to get. Yeah, like if you want to take into account, like if you're looking at your bank account and you're inputting this, and you want to say something finally like cleared, you can add that in the asterisk, and you can get Ledger to take that into account or not take it into account. Like maybe I know I spent the $5 on Starbucks, but it hasn't cleared out in my bank account. Once it clears out, I can put it.
it's like
Put.
a comment almost.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Final next question was about the last last name or entry in your, I guess your last account in your entry.
Hmm.
Is it like a catch-all, or is it required that there is an entry that doesn't have an amount?
No, it's not required. In fact, you can do all the math and then kind of set it up so you can see everything. But if you just want a catch-all, which is the way I prefer to use it, is just have this catch-all at the end and just say, yeah, just take it all out of the checkings account. But yeah, other people use it in different ways and don't use a catch-all at all.
And the positives in your entry are taking out of that catch-all, whereas the negatives are putting in.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. This is you're paying $100 here. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
This is great. So this text file, you said there are other tools that are CLI.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like a standard form for all those 12, or do you know if that's the case?
Yeah. So this is the standard form for Ledger. So Ledger reads these formatted text files. Just yeah, it looks very sorry. Where did it? Why did VS Code close?
But if you were to switch to another tool, you think you have to, like, would this be compatible with another tool?
So let me go here to the resources that are pretty expansive. Okay, so there's a lot of talk from like researching this tool. But since it's just a text file, it tends to be very developer friendly. So people have done, converted to another place called like bean count or a CSV or things like that. And there's countless tools. But what are you more specifically asking about? Sorry.
I was just wondering if that was a standard format that a lot of tools use, or
Oh no, yeah, okay.
CSV or something like that.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, this is Ledger's own kind of custom thing. So yeah, that's probably like the only issue with it. But it being like plain text, very simple to deal with, and again, there's like a lot of resources already. Like these are all Python tools right here. If you want GUIs and even more like web applications, there's more Python, JavaScript, F#, Ruby. So yeah, people have been able to do a lot. But yeah, it is its own custom thing. Yep.
Another question.
Yeah, no problem.
Regarding the format of this file and how Ledger parses it out into the result set that you get,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that Ledger gives you some sort of API as a developer if you wanted to query this file, query parts of this file.
Mm-hmm.
Is there documentation on that, or is that something you kind of have to read the source on, or?
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely you can read the source. It is under the BSD license, and it's just right on GitHub, which we can click there to go. Or there's documentation here. And so the documentation seems to be pretty good. Like a lot of this tutorial I derived from their tutorial. But as for querying the data, let's see here. Typical queries. So seems like maybe, like last October, things like that, of that nature. Yeah.
Is there, you mentioned about like the different currencies you can kind of make up
Mm-hmm.
as you go. I'm assuming it kind of figures out indexes based on those, and then like says, okay, that was worth X amount of US dollars being given at a rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
At some sort of US dollar rate.
Yeah.
And how does it know? Is there any notion of like setting the exchange rate at the time of the event or the entry? I guess you would have to do that per entry, huh? If you bought Apple at some price and you sold it for some other price, you
Mm-hmm.
will know the dollar value of that.
Yeah, yeah, you would have to mention the price you're selling it at. But as for currencies, I think it can do the exchange rate itself because they do have.
This is going to be a weird question, probably out of the woods here, or into the things. You could say
No, go for it.
if you bought, let's say, Bitcoin at, I don't know, $3, which was how long was that? No, so you bought, like, say, Bitcoin, for example, at $3, but then you sold it for Ethereum, which was at the time worth $30 or something like that. Does it know how to like figure out the exchange rate in dollar amount because you're saying at a certain price in Ethereum?
So, s-
That's a weird.
so, so,
I couldn't figure that out. It's one.
so here's like an example of buying stock, which I did look up for this. But like for example, you buy 50 Apple stocks at $30, just like I showed you, and then you can show that you bought it at 30. So this would be labeled right here. This is when I bought it at 30, and now I'm selling it at 50. So then I'm gonna, gain whatever I gain. And then as for currencies, they do have an example in here where somebody is buying something in dollars and getting change back in pounds. I'm not 100% sure on how it does the conversion, but I would assume it's probably just a multiplication thing. See, here's the transactions from Europe from the US, right? Cash is in pounds, and then your checkings. So I'm not sure. I would have to look more into that, but it again, it's pretty feature rich in the
I guess
yeah.
my question more like as an example would be you bought 10 Apple stocks for say $100
Mm-hmm.
each, and then you sold those 10 Apple stocks at 200 euros each, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a completely different currency you're selling it
Mm.
in. And then what's the conversion between dollars and euros? You have
Yeah.
to figure out the dollar amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I
So,
see. Yeah.
and then I'm wondering if it's smart
You,
way to figure that. Can you do at $100, but at how many 100 euros, but how much is in euros?
yeah.
Specify that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing could do it. But yeah.
That's gonna be something I'm gonna be
Yeah.
checking on.
Cool. Any more questions? Looks like